Hello and welcome to another video for myatmm.com. It's time to look for some transactions to track or some new positions to get into. So let's get right to it. All right, here we are in Thinkorswim's trading platform, and we need to review the positions that we got into this past Monday and see what their outcome was. I know we had placed a cash secured put and we had sold some more covered calls, and it was interesting. The price of this stock ticker, Bath and Body Works, actually got up to $48 this week, which would have got us out of it would have executed our covered call and got us out of this position, but then it just dropped back down right below $47, which is where our covered call was setting, and so we ended up keeping the shares, and both of our option positions expired worthless. So want to go ahead and go back into the order history so I can show you what happened with those. So let's see here. So back on, what was last Sunday? Last Sunday we placed the orders on March 17th. So I don't think this is showing those placed orders. Let's see here. Let's see if we can go back another day. Maybe that'll show it. Okay, give me a second. All right, I see what's going on. I'm filtering down by just SPY, and so let me just change that out. I could just delete it and press enter, and then now we're getting all of the rest of them, but let me go ahead and filter down to just this stock ticker symbol to make it a little easier. So we're going to filter down to BBWI. Okay, so last Sunday was on the 17th. So we can see on here on the 17th we have several little orders here. So one of them was expired, canceled, filled. Okay, so let's focus on this filled one for right now. So March 17th is when we placed the order for the covered. This looks like it's the covered call for 2 contracts. We had to set a limit of 35 on it. So the next morning on March 18th, about a minute after open, it looks like we sold those 2 contracts for a fill of 40. So we had placed the order for 35 cents and gotten 40 cents per share. So that was the fill price. So it's always nice to see it filled more than we were expecting. Okay, now the cash secured put, we did run into an issue with that. It did not fill immediately, and in fact, if you look at the date that it was filled, it wasn't filled to the next day. And the reason why is because I lost track of things, didn't check on it in time, and so right here you can see it expired. So I had adjusted the order, but it didn't go through, so I had to place another order the next morning, as you can see, and I had to actually move it from, so it was at 45 originally, and I didn't get the 45, so I had to, because the price had moved up, so I ended up having to sell the cash secured put, because I like to sell the cash secured puts at the money. So I had to move it up to 46 strike for a 44-cent limit, and that one did get filled. As you can see right here, it actually got filled 2 seconds after I placed it. All right, so we did get the $44, what we had placed it for. What we need to do now, and as you can see these in the account statement. So there's the one where the call sold on the 18th, and then on the 19th, that's where the cash secured put sold. So now we need to go over to the web application to track these transactions. All right, here we are logged into the web application, myatmm.com, and we're seeing the dashboard that shows all of our transactions for all of our positions that we have ever done. What we need to do is come over to the cost basis screen and select BBWI, which is already selected, and enter those positions. So let's go ahead and get the Thinkorswim transactions up on the screen so make it easier. So there we go. All right, what we need to do is add 2 new positions, one for the cash secured put and one for the covered call. The start date on the covered call was on the 18th, and that's a sell to open, and it's a call. We did 2 contracts, and it expired this past Friday, which is on the 22nd. The strike price for that was 47, as you can see right there. All right, and the price that we got for it was, 40 cents. At first it was like 80 cents. I was like, no, there's 2 of them. So, right, so we got the $80. And I'm going to pause right there and just fill out the other one first. So for the cash secured put, that was executed on the 19th, It was also a sell to open. It was a put. There was one contract in it as well, expired on the 22nd, this past Friday. The strike price was 46, and the contract price, the premium we received, was 44 cents. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to click save on these one at a time, and it's going to move the call into the call section and the put into the put section. So here we go. We're going to save the covered call. There it goes. It moved into the call section right here. Save the put. It moved into the put section. So those are both in the positions in play now. And as usual, it also moved temporary work transactions in here as a helper to get them into the transaction history for us. And as you can see on the covered call, it automatically calculated 2 commissions because it's $1.30. So back on Thinkorswim, you can see it's $1.30 and 2 cents for the fees. So that one's ready. We can move it down. Click save to add it to the permanent transaction history. And then the cash secured put, we already have the 44, and the commission is accurate, and the fees is not accurate. It needs to move up 1 penny because it did 2 cents right there. Move that down, and again save that to the permanent transaction history. So now we have those both added, and they are recorded. So just to review briefly, we have collected $811.33 in premium on this stock ticker so far. All right. Now, as you all know, these expired on the 22nd, this past Friday, so both of these have expired. And again, if we were doing this in real time, we would have actually recorded these on the days that they happen. So this past Monday and past Tuesday. But since we're just doing this once a week, because we don't want to spend that much time on it, and you don't have to, so now that we have those tracked and logged, we can actually just go ahead and remove them because they expired worthless. And now we can review our current position at this point in time, and that is we own 200 shares of BBWI. The total cost is $9,300. That's how much cash we have involved in this transaction. And it's interesting. It says that's how much we spent on it, but the stock value, as you can see, is $93.50. So we actually have a $50 capital gain unrealized at this point. And we also have $811.33 in premium we've collected. The reason why is because, as you can see, we bought 100 of these shares at 47, but we bought the other 100 shares at 46. So our cost basis is setting at 46.50, which is below the current trading price. So that's why we actually have the $50 capital gain right now. So theoretically, we could place an order to try and sell this at the market open, as long as it's at or above $46, to get out of this stock completely and then start looking for another position. And I am considering doing that, because then that would let us open up another position and start trying to do this continuous wheel strategy with another stock. So I think, I don't know. Let's think about this for a second. All right, I think to mix things up and do things a little differently this time, I am going to go ahead and place an order to try and sell these shares at or above the cost basis that we're into them for. And then assuming that takes place, then we can actually start looking for another position next week and start running the continuous wheel on another stock ticker as a good example for this. So what we need to do is we need to go over to Toss again, Thinkorswim, and start looking at that to see where we're going to place that order at. All right, so here we are back on Thinkorswim, and hold on. Yep, we're back on Thinkorswim, and as usual, we want to pull up the cost basis on the screen, so we have that in the top right-hand corner now. And all right, the cost basis we're setting at 46.50. Here's a chart of BBWI. And we need to just place an order to sell these at. So I think I can right click here and do sell, and that'll open us up. But we want to go ahead and click edit because we want to make some changes to this. All right, so it looks like the market was setting at 44.60. Is that accurate? Hold on a second. Okay, I see what's going on. So the bid is the last bid ask. So the last bid was 44.60, and the last ask was 47.30. So it's setting at 46.75. I am going to go ahead and set up a limit order here, and that is good to know. So it's between 44.62 and 47.30. Just gonna try and do a quick calculation just because I'm curious what the midpoint between those two is. So 268. So it has a setting at 47.29. But to keep things simple, I mean, I really just want to get out of this stock at our cost basis. If we can get out clean at our cost basis, then that means we will have pocketed $811 in premium. And I mean, I can move on from that. Just curious, let's see what that is. If we were to get out of this stock right at our cost basis, that means we would not have a capital gain or a capital loss. We would just get out at break even. So our total cost that we were into this at was $9,300. The total premium we collected was $811.33 divided by 9,300. So that means we would have made 8.7% on this play basically the entire time we've been doing this. So 8.7%. And how long have we been trading this? I'm looking at the transaction history at the web application. We've been trading it since February. So, I mean, we'll just say 60 days, which is actually less than 60 days. So in 2 months, we made 8.7% on our 9,300. That's not too shabby. So I'm actually pretty happy with that if we were to get that. Granted, it is paper trading, obviously, but we're always simulating what we could do in real life, and paper trading is the closest thing you can come to that. So I'm going to go ahead, and we need to also up this to 200 shares because we own 200 shares. So we're going to place it for 46.50. And the funny thing about it is it might feel higher than that. We just don't want it to go lower than 46.50. And I'm going to go ahead and just make it good for the day. So it'll try it out tomorrow. If it hits at or above 46.50 anytime tomorrow, it will execute, and then we'll be out of this trade, and we can start looking for another position with another stock ticker. If it doesn't for some reason, like if the stock tanks or whatever, then I'm probably going to look to go ahead and run a covered call again, and then maybe even place another cash secured put. But we will determine that tomorrow after we see what this does. And I'll of course update you in the next video next week. So we're going to click confirm and send. And yep, we will receive the $9,300 back that we have in this stock if it executes at that price. It might execute higher, but it's definitely not going to execute lower, which is what we're trying to get it to not do. All right, we're going to click send. So now that limit order is placed, and it will try and execute tomorrow when the market opens. And we will review this next week to see how it plays out. I want to thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and go out today to myatmm.com and get your free account so you can start tracking your own transactions. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.